this month's top picks. Look how thick the books are. A little sneak peek. Stay tuned. Top picks for the month of June. Oh, it rhymed. Keep reading. Hi, Terry Gillespie here, and welcome to the month of June's top picks. And I'm really excited. These are some substantial books, and we have a couple of alumni in our stack of goodies this month. So we'll start with the lead book first. And for those who don't know or forgot since last month, the top pick, oh, look what it does. The top pick is the A2A author. So that means I will be interviewing this author, and this author is Cathy Gohlke. And Cathy is very special because when I decided that I wanted to start doing interviews of best-selling and award-winning authors and Hall of Famers and New York Times best-selling authors, and I didn't know who to start with and who would have the bravery to let me experiment. And that was my friend Cathy. And so I'm very excited. This will be her third interview with this program. So now I'm showing you the advanced reader's copy, but I do have to show you, and some of you may have seen it on Instagram, but she did send me the hardcover copy. I was one of those very fortunate, blessed people to get one of the hard copies. And you can see the back and the front. And she wrote me a little note. And what was really especially sweet was, here's the dedication. For Gloria Delk, Kathy Chamberlain, Randy Eaton, Terry Gillespie, and Carrie Taransky, one precious sister by birth, 5 dear sisters of my heart, with all my love and thanks. Anyway, yeah. So it's not just that she's a very dear friend, but she's an incredible writer, as you will see if you don't already know. So this is published by Tyndale House, and it is due to release July 11th. So it'll be a couple weeks. Now, if a book has not released yet, please pre-order, because I can tell you that a lot of Cathy's books will sell out and you have to wait for the second printing. So order it so you don't miss the copy. You don't miss reading this book. So, as I said, Tyndale published it, and it comes in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And here is Cathy's bio. 4-time Christy and 2-time Carol and Inspy award-winning author Cathy Gohlke writes novels steeped with inspirational lessons from history. Her stories reveal how people break the chains that bind them and triumph over adversity through faith. When not traveling to historic sites for research, she and her husband Dan divide their time between Northern Virginia and the Jersey Shore. And I miss the Jersey Shore. Enjoying time with their grown children and grandchildren. So, let's see. historical. This book is historical. All right. And she did, it's not written here on the bio, but she is now officially in the Hall of Fame, the Christie Hall of Fame, which I think means that you have at least 4 Christie Awards. So pretty cool, right? Okay. I have a brilliant friend. All right, so here is the publisher notes. When she is forced to leave her beloved Prince Edward Island to attend Lakeside Ladies Academy, the last thing Adelaide Rose McNeil, Adelaide? I'll have to ask you, Cathy, expects to find is 3 kindred spirits, the ladies of the lake, as the 4 girls call themselves, quickly bond like sisters, vowing that wherever life takes them, they will always be there for each other. But that is before love and jealousy come between Adelaide and Dorothy, the closest of the friends, before the dawn of World War I upends their world and casts baseless suspicions on the German-American man they both love. Before a terrible explosion in Halifax Harbor rips the sisterhood apart. Now, this is a dual timeline. So the other timeline, the more contemporary of the historical, is 17 years later, Rosalie Murray receives an unexpected telephone call from Dorothy, now head mistress of Lakeside, inviting her to attend the graduation of a new generation of girls, including Rosaline's beloved daughter. With that call, Rosaline is drawn into a past she's determined to put behind her, to memories of a man she once loved, of a sisterhood she abandoned, and of the day she stopped being Adelaide McNeil. Doesn't that sound, has a little bit of mystery too. All right, so she usually has a yep, she does. She has a prologue. Okay, now, before you think I'm just reading a whole bunch rather than just the first line, this is one sentence. Okay. We, Susanna Eudora Calhoun, Ruth Mason Hennessy, Dorothy Marie Belding, and Adelaide Rose McNeil, hereafter known as the Ladies of the Lake, do solemnly swear this day of our graduation from Lakeside Ladies Academy, July 9, in the year of our Lord, 1910, that we shall stick by one another through thick and thin, maintain a healthy correspondence from wherever in the world our paths may wander, and be always at the ready to come to the aid of any sister among us in need. Actually, it is 2 sentences. Well, I'm going to finish it. To the best of our ability, we vow to meet here in this hallowed gazebo every 2 years to reclaim and celebrate our sisterhood. Nothing but death will free us from these vows. And then they signed and sealed it with a pinprick of blood. And this is Farmington, Connecticut, July 9th, 1910. So, and when I interview Cathy, which will air July 5th, we'll have both the video, the A2A video, and then we'll have the in-depth blog interview. And she's got some great pictures when she did research for this book. So excited. If you have never read a Cathy Gohlke book, this is a really good one to begin with. There are so many really good ones. My favorite is Secret She Kept. But if you've never read Cathy, this is a good one. This is a good one. All right. Next on the list, is by Lowe, and it's called Indigo Isle. Don't you love that color? Yes, I got an email. Okay. So this is the first book I've read of T.I. I feel funny calling her T.I. But anyway, so this is my first book by T.I. And, oh, I forgot to tell you. Did I tell you? Yeah. July 11th. Okay, so Tyndale House Publishers also published this in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And this book will release, it says it releases in June, but for some reason I'm showing, oh yeah, it did. It released a couple weeks ago. So sorry about that. So this is T.I.'s bio. T.I. is an ordinary country girl who loves to tell extraordinary stories. She is the author of nearly 20 published novels, including her recent best-selling and critically acclaimed novel, Under the Magnolias, and her debut breakout, Lulu's Cafe. You know what? It really is a beautiful blue cover, but for these old eyes, it's pretty hard to read. She lives with her husband and family in coastal South Carolina. So, by the way, down below in the description section, I will have, my husband is going to put chapter markers for each one of the books, and within each chapter, I'll have the author's not their email, their website, and where to purchase their books. So, yeah, that'll all be down below in the description section. So you don't have to go hunting around. I've done it for you. All right, so here is the publisher's notes. Storms show up, and there ain't a thing we can do to stop them. Sonny Bates left South Carolina 15 years ago and never looked back. She's now a successful Hollywood location scout who travels the world, finding perfect places for movie shoots. Home is wherever she lands, and between her busy schedule and dealing with her boss's demands, she has little time to think about the past until her latest gig lands her a stone's throw from everything she left behind. Searching off the coast of Charleston for a secluded site to film a key scene, Sonny wanders onto a private barrier island and encounters its reclusive owner, known by locals as the monster of Indigo Island. What she finds is a man much more complex than the myth. Once a successful New York attorney, Hudson Renfro's grief has exiled him to his island for several years. He spends his days alone, tending the fields of indigo, then making indigo dye. Now, I had no idea. Like, they really captured the color of indigo. But indigo is a plant. So, and you're going to learn how to make indigo dye in case that's really something you'd like to do. So he has no interest in serving the intrusive needs of a film company or yielding to Sonny's determined curiosity. But when a hurricane makes landfall on the Carolina coast, stranding them together, an unlikely friendship forms between the two damaged souls. Soon, the gruff exterior Hudson has long hidden behind crumbles, exposing the tender parts of him that's desperate for forgiveness and a second chance. A story of hanging on and letting go, of redemption and reconciliation. and of a love that heals the deepest wounds. So, can you guess? It's a romance. It's really a unique romance. Yikes. I forgot to read the first line, and it's so good. Okay, chapter 1. So this is how it feels to be near death and utterly alone. Sounds good, doesn't it? By the way, I've posted reviews on all the books this month. So some of them, because Amazon won't allow you to post until the book actually officially releases. But I have reviews for these books on Goodreads, BookBub, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and Goodreads. So if you frequent any of those sites, you'll find my reviews of these books. And I gave this a 5-star. And I gave, of course, Ladies of the Lake a 5-star. First of all, I love this cover. I love this cover. I really do. Okay, so this is The All-American by Suzie Finkbeiner. And if it's German, it's Beiner. If it's not, it's Beiner. So I think it's Beiner. Anyway, this is published by Revell in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And this will come out next month, July 11th. And it is historical fiction. I absolutely love this book. This is the first time I've read one of Suzie's books. It will not be the last time because the same goes with T.I. Because it's not your ordinary romance, not your ordinary contemporary, not your ordinary historical. There are so many layers, and they really get into, especially this one because it was set in the 1950s. She did such a phenomenal job of capturing that time period where you, on the one hand, you had that innocence of the 1950s. And then on the other hand, you had these horrible, almost witch hunts because of fear and hubris of people thinking that somebody else, because they think a little differently, they must be a communist. So, and somehow all of that mixes together with baseball. So it is phenomenal. I'm just keep going on and on and on. So I should just go ahead and read what the publisher has here. It releases on July 11th, which is what I said. So Suzie's bio. Suzie is a CBA best-selling author of All Manner of Things, which was selected as a 2020 Michigan Notable Book, as well as Stories That Bind Us, The Nature of Small Birds, and other novels. I love all of those titles. Ooh, they're so picturesque. Suzie and her husband have 3 children and live in West Michigan. So this is the publisher's summary. In this 1950s coming-of-age story, 2 sisters are left reeling when their father is accused of being a member of the Communist Party. Bertha finds a haven with the All-American Girls Baseball League. Remember that movie, League of Their Own? After I read this book, I had to watch that movie again. Bertha finds a haven with the All-American Girls Baseball team. Flossie finds herself in an unexpected friendship. Both are about to discover how much good there is in the world, even in the hardest of circumstances. Okay, first sentence. And this is in Bertha's point of view. early March 1952. According to Mrs. Higginbottom, home economics teacher at Bonaventure Park High School, there were certain skills that the average girl needed to master in order to secure for herself a good husband, live in a nice home, raise clean-cut children, and serve her country. Okay, that is the 50s. That was the 50s. So anyone trying to get out of that mold, anyone who didn't fit that mold was suspect. So so good. Yeah, I gave this a 5-star. Yeah. If I could have given it a 10, I would have given it a 10. Okay. Next book. So next book she writes, I'll probably have her on as an A2A interview. All right. Next book. Tracie Peterson. We all love Tracie Peterson. This is the second book in the Pictures of the Heart. And my gosh, she is gorgeous. Okay. This is published by Bethany House in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And this book will release July 25th, and it is historical fiction. You can kind of tell that. So one of the really cool things about Tracie's historical, now I love her contemporary novels, but her historicals are so fascinating because she just flawlessly integrates these little known facts about that time period and things that are going on in the background that you would never know and you would never guess because they're not going to be in the history books. So I don't want to give away too much. Anyway, here's Tracie's bio. Tracie is the award-winning author of over 100 novels, both historical and contemporary, with nearly 6 million copies sold. Her avid research resonates in her many best-selling series. Tracie and her family make their home in Montana. I love Montana. Such a beautiful place. And a shout out to Jennifer, Tracie's daughter. She's a hoot. I really love her. Okay, this is the publisher's summary. While taking photos at an exposition in Seattle, camera girl Eleanor Bennett meets a handsome stranger, Bill Reed, who recognizes the subjects in one of her portraits as a missing woman and her child. As they hunt for the truth, Eleanor and Bill will have to band together to face the danger that follows. Okay, so let's read the first sentence. Okay. And for some reason, Bethany House, they usually always have prologue, which I like. I like prologues. Okay. All right, prologue. Salish Sea on board the City of Canton in May 1909. William Reed, Bill to his friends and family, stood at the rail of the ship and watched the distant storm move in. The sense of foreboding. Yeah, the first part of the book is kind of heartbreaking initially. So, but it's really good. Really, 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 really good. All right. Next book. All right. It is The Girl from the Papers by Jennifer L. Wright. And Jennifer is also an alumni or an alum of my A2A, or my author highlights. Last year, I interviewed her when she released Come Down Somewhere, which I think is up for several awards right now, and this one will no doubt be the same. So, don't you love that cover? Do you kind of get a feel for the time period? Yes, it is historical, and it's around the 1920s. This is published by Tyndale. It will be out on August the 8th. And what do we do if it's not out, available yet? We pre-order. So please pre-order. I said hardcover, paperback, ebook, audiobook. Okay. Now, Jennifer is another unique writer. She will take very unique subject and kind of controversial subject matter and put it into a story that involves people so that we can see the humanity of these unusual circumstances in history. Now, can you kind of guess what that looks like? Kind of looks like Bonnie and Clyde. Well, it's very loosely based on, inspired by, shall we say, Bonnie and Clyde. So first, the bio of Jennifer. Jennifer L. Wright has been writing since middle school, eventually earning a master's degree in journalism. However, it only took a few short months of covering the local news for her to realize that writing fiction is much better for the soul and definitely way more fun. A born and bred Hoosier, she was plucked from the heartland after being swept off her feet by an Air Force pilot and has spent the past decade traveling the world. She currently resides in New Mexico with her husband and 2 children, one grumpy dachshund, and her newest obsession, a guinea pig named Peanut Butter Cup. Well, I happen to know she now has 2 more guinea pigs. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, you have to do that because she has these adorable guinea pigs. She's very bold and very brave to have guinea pigs. Anyway, and she has them all set up in these cute little environments. It's just really cute. Okay, so these are the, I did say Tyndale, right? Okay. This is the publisher notes or the publisher's summary. Beatrice Carraway has dreams. Although she's aged out of the childhood pageant circuit, she's intent on carrying her talents all the way to the big screen, if only she can escape the poverty of West Dallas first. But as the Great Depression drags the working class further and further under, Beatrice struggles just to keep herself, her mother, and her younger sister afloat. After a string of failed auditions, she feels defeated. And then in walks Jack Turner. Though Beatrice is determined to pull herself up by her bootstraps, Jack has decided on a different path out of the gutters. It isn't long before Beatrice is swept into an exciting and glamorous life of crime. Beside the man she loves, keeping one step ahead of the law, she sees her dreams of fame come true when her name and picture are plastered in newspapers across the country. Yet, as their infamy grows, the distance between them widens. While Jack begins seeking bigger payouts and publicity, Beatrice starts to long for a safe, quiet life and something deeper to fill the emptiness in her soul. But when the danger of Jack's schemes ratchets up, Beatrice fears her dreams and her future will end up going down in a hail of bullets. So good. It's so good. All right. First sentence. Okay, prologue. Now, my mama always told me I would live and die as a nobody. Okay, that tells you so much. That's probably one of the most vivid first lines I've read in a long time. All right, now it's time for a little menfolk reading. Ryan Steck has released his second book in the Matt Red series, and it's called Lethal Range. And this is published by Tyndale House, and it will release August the 8th, I think. Yes, August the 8th in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. So the first book, I mean, ideally, it's always good to read the books, a series in order, but with this book, you don't have to do that. But it is good if you do. It's optimal if you read it in order. Ryan Steck has a fascinating bio. Ryan Steck is an editor, an author, and the founder and editor-in-chief of The Real Book Spy. Ryan has been named an online influencer by Amazon and is a regular columnist at Crime Reads. TheRealBookSpy.com has been endorsed by #1 New York Times bestselling authors Mark Greenlee, C.J. Box, Kyle Mills, Daniel Silva, Brad Thor, and many others. A resident of Michigan. Oh, we got another Michiganer. Along with his wife and their 6 kids, Steck cheers on his beloved Detroit Tigers and Lions during the rare moments when he's not reading or talking about books on social media. And once again, a reminder that all those great links are down below in the description section. And by the way, if this is your first time here, welcome. And I know it's kind of late, but be sure and subscribe. And when you hit that red subscribe button and the white bell comes up, be sure and click that, and you won't miss any future episodes of the top picks or the author interviews. And the author interviews are great because you get to know the authors personally, and they usually give away at least one book. Sometimes we actually had one author give away the whole series of her books. So anyway, I digress. So here is the publisher's summary, and I think it's a long summary. Okay. On an island off the coast of Spain, Matthew Red and his FBI fly team surveil a luxury villa in hopes of catching a high-value fugitive. But when Red leads an unauthorized raid on the villa, he discovers they've been set up, and he is sent home to face the consequences of defying orders. Meanwhile, Red's wife, Emily, is on the remote stretch of a Montana road, driving their sick baby to the doctor when she finds her SUV surrounded by a biker gang intent on harassing her. As the bikers pound her fenders and her infant son screams, Emily fights to keep the SUV on the road, and then suddenly the bikers back off, leaving her safe but shaken. Red returns home suspended from his team and certain that he is to blame for Emily's harassment after his run-in with the local biker gang the year before, in the book before. But it was kind of a brief encounter, but apparently it really set the wheels in motion for revenge. Fearing there is more to come, he prepares to defend his family. But Red soon learns the gang is stronger in numbers than he could have imagined, and there is more behind their vendetta than he could have guessed. As his son's condition worsens and his beloved ranch faces financial ruin, he finds himself fighting a war on multiple fronts, one he can't win on his own. I published my reviews of this book, and what I really loved about this second book is that we really begin to see Matthew as more than just like this big brawny hero. We see him as a father and a husband and a big brawny hero. Okay, this is chapter 1. Isn't that cool? Nicely done, Tyndale. All right. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it's somewhere in Spain. For the moment, things are quiet, but they won't stay that way for long. We've talked about this before. Sometimes I'll read the first sentence of a book and then I just go into the book. I could just go into the story. I'm there again and I get lost in it. But that is not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. It just doesn't make it very professional on my part. So anyway, that's the last book for my top picks. It doesn't mean that there aren't other really good books out there, but these are the ones that, man, they grabbed me when I got the list to pick and choose from. So I hope you can find one or more books to enjoy and have get lost in a book. Just get lost in a book and enjoy that book. Put your feet up, turn off all the electronics, and just get into another world. So that's it for this month. Look forward to talking with you next month in July. We're almost halfway through this year. Can you believe it? So in the meantime, until I see you next month, God bless and keep reading.